Jonesy thought about coming in here.
Change your mind.
Then he changed his mind and went that way. Goofy cat.
Must have been listening to Mike.
Yeah.
Hey, good morning, Mid-Michigan and surrounding areas. Scott here with Continuous Miracle, and we're glad you're here with us this morning. Looking forward to an informative show. We got a guest on with us today, as per our show kind of allows for. A fellow who knows a little more about something than we do. Isn't that right, Mike?
Yes, sir. Well, he knows something.
Right, all right.
Don't give me too much credit.
Okay, we won't. We've been having some fun here this morning pre-show, so if that spills over onto you, we apologize in advance. No, we're glad you're here. It's we're getting closer. It's still not February in Michigan, although it's a little bit chilly out there this morning. But who's complaining? It's not February.
My sister said there was frost over at Big Pine Island Lake this morning.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's a good place for it.
I can have it.
It wasn't where I was, thank goodness. So anyway, we brought Will on with us here this morning. And Will's a gentleman who runs an organization that was the CEO, correct, of an organization called Lanturn, based in Grand Rapids, but available to anyone statewide.
Yeah.
Who may be interested in what they do there. And what they do there is kind of interesting. Will tell us about that. But they treat family members who have a loved one who is suffering from addiction, and it's free. Right?
It is, yes.
Yeah, at no cost, which I find phenomenal. Thank you for your service.
You're welcome.
It's amazing what's available to us here in the recovery community. If we choose, we want to do something different and maybe try and get a little healthier. But that takes some willingness on our part, we've discovered. So, Mike, we got Mike co-hosting here this morning. He's revved up.
I'm thinking about the damage a guy like me did to their family and such. And Lanturn, from what I understand, addresses some of that emotional damage. And can you elaborate a little bit on that, Will?
That's exactly right, Mike. Thank you for mentioning it that way, because I think back on the damage I caused my family too, and the reparations that they needed to go through in order to kind of normalize, so to speak, grow and heal on their own journey. And that's what we guide families through. We assist families that have been impacted by addiction and substance abuse in any way, in their particular and specific and unique way. We guide them through those dark spaces, those dark chapters, because we've been there. My wife lived it from a family perspective. I live it from a guy in recovery who for a long time battled the bottle pretty hard.
Well, I was going to get to that. Yeah, what actually, because we aren't born and raised up and then become CEOs overnight. There was a period in your life that kind of pushed you towards the recovery community, wasn't it?
Yeah.
A little bit of unmanageability.
Plenty. For a long period of time. Yeah, sustained, unsuccessfully.
Well, we're a little familiar with some of that.
Yes, we are.
So what brought you to the recovery community?
I mean, my own challenge and struggle within largely my entire 20s was spent partying and having a good time, but then finding my way off the path and not realizing it until it was very far off that path.
Unmanageable.
Completely. My life turned upside down, and that happened before I knew it, and I, at that point, was too far off to do anything for myself, by myself, and yet still had that ego to tell myself that I didn't need to.
Right.
It's that battle that we go through that, no, I'm okay, I can handle it, I'll get better on my own, and I couldn't.
Watch what I can do.
Right.
Is that when the fun party starts turns into I have to do this just to get through the day.
Yeah, it was morning to night, have to do this. And no one wanted to hang out with me during that period of time either.
You lost
It was
your
very
charm?
strange. Yeah, I don't understand really what happened. It's probably their problem, not mine.
Oh, that's
You were-
illegal.
Right.
You were enjoying your own company.
Well, there were certain days that I didn't, but I didn't have a choice.
Nobody wanted to be around Will. Is that what you're saying?
It's amazing, right? It's so
Okay.
surprising. Yeah, no, but for a long time, I didn't even enjoy my own company. And that was ultimately what was the catalyst to me needing to do something about it. You
Or at
know,
least being curious about it.
it's the beginning stages of that open-mindedness, right?
Yeah.
You know, because it doesn't just flip on a switch. One day you wake up, let's get sober and do everything you can.
Yeah.
It doesn't work that way.
Today's the day I'll have an open mind.
Right. Yeah.
I don't remember that day.
I didn't have that day.
Oh, good. Me neither. Kind of comes about you over some time.
Right. Yeah. Thankfully I was given an opportunity by my family that didn't give up on me.
Thank God.
Yeah. It wasn't for lack of reasonability to do so. I put them through the ringer, but they gave me an opportunity to get help, and I took it because at that point it was quite literally a simple choice of life or death. I mean, I was that bad, which many of us do.
Yeah, and I hate to reiterate this, but it's so true. I mean, addiction is a life and death disease.
Truly.
And it doesn't matter which substance you may be addicted to. And it's about making that personal choice. At some point in our lives, various factors contribute to helping us make that decision. The unmanageability is
That's right.
generally a pretty good driver, though, and a pretty good indicator that things have really gotten off the rails.
And unmanageability looks different, right? You know,
Oh, for everybody.
this disease does not discriminate.
No.
So unmanageability can look very different to me, to him, to her. It's unique, but it was there. It was present.
Yeah, unique's up on you.
Yeah, I'm just glad that my sponsor early on told me that terminal uniqueness is not a quality you want to maintain in sobriety.
Nor is it really sustainable.
Not at all. Not at all. I'm just another bozo on the bus, you know. No matter my story being different from yours, we're on the same journey.
Right. And that's about getting better.
That's about getting better. And
You
that's... Go ahead.
You made mention, Will, about your family offered you an opportunity. Working as a recovery coach, I just brought to mind a gentleman I'd worked with where his mother said, why don't you just give up on him? We did.
Sure.
And I didn't.
Thank
And
you.
he told me this morning that he's got 3.5 years clean now.
Wow, cool.
But not part of what you probably run into is why I brought that up is people that have kind of had a second chance or a third chance or whatever, and they'd wasted that like a lot of us do.
Yeah. I view my life as today I have an opportunity to do a lot of redos. I have a lot of opportunity to do things better, do things differently, do things right, and thankfully,
Do-overs.
yeah, that's
Yeah.
exactly right. Get a
Yeah.
do-over.
Yeah.
I don't remember that movie City Slickers, but it was all about let's start fresh, let's do a do-over, you know. And thankfully, I had the support of my family. But you're right; that's not always the case. You know, a lot of people do, kind of get to a point of I've had enough, and we are an excellent resource to those individuals because we're able to, because of my experience coupled with my wife's experience, not being in recovery but living in a household and family of those that struggle, we can illuminate a perspective that that does help them understand a little bit of both sides of the coin, and sometimes does bring them back to walk that path together again. It's a slow process. It's not overnight.
I quoted that this morning.
Yeah.
Not an overnight matter.
It's not.
Page 84.
He did. Mike
It's
quoted
not.
that this morning earlier.
But sometimes that light at the end of the tunnel can be just a pinprick of light, but seeing it is what's important, and seeing it is what triggers interest to continue.
Well, my experience is borne out. You can't see it unless somebody points you towards it.
That's exactly right.
I mean, I couldn't see what I couldn't see until I could see it.
That's exactly why we
And
really...
someone had to direct me where I might see it.
That's exactly what we try to do. We don't see ourselves as counselors because we're not. We don't see ourselves as teachers because we really aren't. We see ourselves as guides you know, and we lead people to see things that they might not otherwise see.
Right. Getting a new pair of glasses.
It's as simple as that. Two heads are better than one, or someone else's eyes on something.
When did that start going on?
Right.
Excuse me?
I've heard about professional dog do finders that were told to look up. Stop staring at the ground, son.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did I use the right word, Darren?
Yep.
Oh, good. I'm learning.
You're getting better.
Some.
Darren's doing good too. He didn't even get the trigger finger. He was off it.
Oh.
Yeah. But, you know, what we've learned, and this has come not just from working with Lanturn over the past year and a half, but preceding that just for my own journey of recovery and my wife's, as well as working in treatment, the process that families go through is not all that dissimilar to our own in recovery. They go through their own version, right? They go through their own journey of healing.
Well, I know in the AA organization, there's a side of it we've had some guests on that, called Al-Anon.
Right. And
it helps the recovering family, spouse, whoever person who's addicted may be involved with. And I know you guys don't quite follow that, but it's similar in what you offer to people, correct?
Yeah, it's similar in that we focus on the families.
Okay.
You know, Al-Anon focuses on the families. We are a huge supporter of Al-Anon. It's a wonderful program.
Oh, it's wonderful.
It's
people.
terrific.
Yes.
Terrific. You know, and I'm a big AA guy. It still is a major ingredient to my recovery, and Al-Anon follows a very similar format.
They do.
And what we are trying to do or have done is be a supplement to that. Focus on family guidance and support from a different perspective. You know, focusing more on those life encountering issues that do happen within the home, that are effective to cover and be guided through.
Well, living with an addict or alcoholic or whatever substance is being abused can be a traumatic experience. Somebody who isn't equipped to be an addict or an alcoholic, they're just experiencing what's going on around them, and it can be kind of tenuous.
Very traumatic in and of itself.
Trauma.
Very much so.
Driving towards.
Very much so. And it requires a look at things that are not covered in the format of Al-Anon, even though that's effective. It's, you know, talking about empathy. It's talking about enabling. It's talking about living with an alcoholic. What does that look like day to day? What can we do to encourage a more unified alignment when that begins to take form?
And you encourage folks to kind of take a look at that, and that can be pretty uncomfortable.
Very.
Very uncomfortable.
Yes.
And I'm aware of that. And that's quite a service you provide for folks, or an outlet or a service you're providing for folks who are so affected.
It's been tremendous, and the effectiveness of our service hinges on our confidentiality, just like AA or Al-Anon. It hinges on our ability to be vulnerable as well as what we're hoping up from our audience. That is a catalyst to that healing. We need to dig deep. You know, we need to get down below the surface, and that's where the good stuff sits.
I was fixing to interrupt about stuff like that, and Darren's doing this take a break stuff, and I'm kind of muted.
You mean Darren was telling you what to do?
Trying. How much did I listen?
You're getting the hang of this, aren't you?
I am.
So yeah, Darren is waving about, so we're going to take a little break here. We're glad you're here. Come on back and join us after the break. See how quick that went?
It does go fast, real fast.
Somewhere in the book, and I couldn't remember the quote, I would have interrupted with it, but it says that living with an alcoholic is driving a person somewhat crazy.
100%. Yeah. I wish there were more stories in the back of family members. You know? Because we have plenty of
Might
stories.
help if I
Community focus on
Hit the right button.
Play the
Yeah,
commercial.
you probably would become more aware of
Yeah,
it.
we have a chapter to the wives,
at
but
Stanton American Legion
A lot of
Post
people don't want to hear
452.
that about chapters. A lot of
Inflatables,
women
touchy
don't
truck,
find
Yeah.
hot
first
dogs,
chapter
snow
on
cones,
relationships.
popcorn,
that's
cotton
exactly
candy, and
what
more.
it is.
Volunteers,
Yeah, 'cause they can go
donate, or
either
need
way.
more
Right.
information.
Yeah.
He's got it.
Especially in today's society.
Yeah.
Can't,
Yeah.
Gotta be careful.
I'm the guy carrying the dog in a flowery bag. I know what you're
Exactly what you sure do.
I got them all suspicious.
Got a t-shirt that says don't ask.
I
Don't buy
won't
what
tell
you
you
can't.
nothing either.
Don't buy what you can't chew.
I love it. False pride there. Or no, I went too far with that, didn't I?
Again.
No way.
I missed the pride rally downtown New England yesterday.
What?
I missed it, I'm sorry.
Athlete has won two
The dog
girls
is a
events
chick
at the
magnet.
California.
Oh, no, I know it. I have, we have three myself, but before I was married, I got a dog, and boy, did it work.
Every time you wanted it to.
Anytime.
Many protesters
I'll take-
arguing
I
he
think
should
I think I'll take the dog for a walk.
Yeah.
girls
Yeah.
bus accident in
My friend Roger called those Serenity walks.
22 athletes.
That's, I guess,
returned
one way to put
local
it.
sports festival.
Sure.
An official says numerous passengers were
See what I
hurt.
can see.
This is
He was
SR.
stomping around the lake with a dog. He was
Or
saying
what
it's Serenity
sees me.
Prayer.
Right.
Yeah.
It's a
Look, I'm sober.
WGLM Weather Center update.
And I got a dog.
Mostly sunny for your
I'm
Sunday.
waiting.
High today of 69. Clear skies overnight
Serenity
tonight.
prayer,
A low of
yeah.
44. Sunshine and breezy for the day on
Or
Monday.
Serenity
With gusts
Stomp
of 25
sometimes,
miles an
he
hour
said.
and a high near 80.
Yeah, that's so true,
Clear
though,
skies,
isn't it?
continued breezy overnight Monday night. A low of
10
61.
seconds.
Sunshine again for Tuesday. A high of
So we'll lead
85.
into a little more about it.
Now, more of the music you love on WGLM.
Hey, welcome back to Continuous Miracle. Yeah, that whole mouthful. Hey, before I be remiss again, I want to give our website out and Facebook. We are on Facebook Live right now. You just type Continuous Miracle into your toolbar, and I'm told that we pop right up. I believe him because I can't do it. Also, we'll be available on YouTube tomorrow, right?
Yes.
Yeah, we should be up on YouTube tomorrow. This show will be able to view it there if you're so inclined. And of course, all our previously recorded shows are available at continuousmiracle.net. Continuousmiracle.net. If you'd like to call in and you have a question for Will or Mike or myself, feel free. 616-754-1063. And Will's going to give his phone number out, and we'll have him do it a couple of times, actually, during the course of the show. That is, I'll give it to you since he gave it to me, 616-881-3946, or will@lanturn.org. If you don't have a pen or a pencil handy, it might be a good time to go get one, and we will make sure we give those numbers and websites out again.
Yeah. And make sure that Lanturn is spelled Lanturn.
Oh,
So
right.
a little
Thank
play
you.
on words.
Thank you
Lanturn.
for
Oh, turn
specifying.
around,
Yes,
Mike,
because
turn
we're
around.
making a turn.
You
And
got it,
you're
kinda
turning a corner.
crafty.
Yes.
I like
Took
it.
Dangerous Darren to catch that one. Thank
I
you.
like it. But I'm glad you mentioned that because really all of what you just shared, contact-wise, email, phone numbers, it's all on our site as well as our social media links. So if you go to lanturn.org, all that can be found there as a quick, just click of the button.
And it's Lanturn, Lanturn
.org.
.org. It's kind of like turn around.
That's right. We're making a turn.
I like that.
Connections.
Right.
Yeah, crafty.
We all had to turn our life around at some point.
Yeah, yeah, it's happened here.
Yeah.
It's what we
That's how
call
you
a
get two lives in
continu-
one.
Right.
It's what we call a continuous miracle.
Do-over.
Or a do-over. Yeah. There's another pitch coming. Stay in the rock.
I love it.
So what's going on at Lanturn other than what kind of volume of participation are you getting there? You get a lot. I know that addiction, the breadth of it,
Yeah.
and I know it affects so many people, not just ourselves. My hope is that you're getting a good turnout down there. You're getting a good participation level
Very good.
at Lanturn.
Yeah. So
Okay.
over the past year, our emphasis has been partnering with treatment centers locally. Guiding Light is our primary partner, and we host workshops there on site every month, once a month, on typically the third Saturday of that month. And that begun with a meek 7 people in the audience, and it's grown to 25 plus
That's phenomenal.
sustainably, which is wonderful. And we've begun looking at other partnerships in town to enter and offer more meetings, more workshops available to really the general community, the general public, as opposed to just members of Guiding Light's program.
Right, that's what we're trying to do with this radio show.
Yeah.
Reaching out and making sure folks, or helping folks understand there's so much help available. Our friend Mike H. likes to say, we are a resource-rich community, and that includes Grand Rapids and the
That's right.
surrounding areas,
Yeah.
up here in Montcalm County as well. And there's so much help available that I believe sometimes folks are either unaware or just isn't publicized, and people don't discover this type of help that's available unless they are directed towards it, whether that be by the court system or maybe the sheriff or whoever they're encountering might have a healthy suggestion for them, or they know somebody in recovery.
Can't tell you how many organizations that we've learned about, come aware of just through our path over the past year that I would have not known about otherwise. And there's so many wonderful organizations in town, and I like to think that we're one of them, making ourselves available to a space that has plenty of people in need and offering it at no cost, offering it because it's needing to be offered. It's a space that's underserved, and we want to be able to embrace change within the community, and that can't happen within families.
And we're seeing that.
It is.
I know.
It's happening.
I know Mike likes to illuminate. We've seen a lot of change just up in our neck of the woods
Yeah.
here over the past 18 months to
Yeah.
thereabouts.
I'm Fan is trying to do similar things in this area, and that stands for Families Face Addiction Now. It used to be called Families Against Narcotics, but they wanted to be more positive. They changed their name, but they have different things to try to reach the family that's going on. But they're not quite as successful yet as you have been with Lanturn.
We are involved in that group. We, in Kent County at least, we sit on that panel and we advocate heavily of what they're trying to do, and it's awareness is what it is. And
Yeah.
there's
I'm fan as I am in Montcalm Families.
Face
Or
Addiction.
Face Addiction Now.
that's
Wanna
what it
make
is.
sure I
Face
pronounce it.
addiction now.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, it's hard to be for something if you're against it, right?
100%.
I figured that out.
Probably over in your neck of the woods is something like K-Fan. Kent County.
Yeah,
Fam.
I know it just as Fan, but it's all the same mission, right?
Yep.
Is doing this together, making sure families know that there are resources out there to help them through this very challenging period of their lives.
Right.
Yeah, I'd like to maybe clear something up that some people don't understand, or maybe do, that no matter whatever your organization is, you can't necessarily do that much for the addict that's not willing to do their own work. What you offer is support services for the family
Right.
that may spill over to help the addict, but right there, it's really to help the family.
Oftentimes it's spilled over, but it doesn't always work that way. But what we have been making our organization known to be is that we are a guide before that individual enters recovery or sobriety or embraces it, so we can be a resource when families simply need help even though that loved one isn't ready. But then also within that stage of early recovery, we're an excellent guide through that process, and then later on once it kind of starts taking form.
That time when it doesn't look like there's any light in that tunnel at all.
Yeah.
That's exactly what is helpful for having people like us point out there is truly light. There is truly light.
Yeah, because that early recovery, it can be tumultuous and upsetting, and well, even more so than maybe maintaining addiction. It just because, and the reason being, it's so different, and there's a lot of fear involved with that.
So much.
And overcoming that, it helps to have a community around you, people who have experienced that and understand it uniquely.
Yeah.
I mean, that what you do.
There's so many unknowns in that period. You know,
There
families
Right.
don't plan to encounter that for
Yeah.
sure, so they don't study up on encountering
Right.
it.
It's
They
not
don't
like,
know.
hey, today's the
Right,
day.
yeah, let's make
Today's
sure
the
that-
day. Yeah.
Well, I hadn't planned to be an alcoholic. That kind of surprised
Yeah,
me too.
right. You know, I didn't wake up and I'm an alcoholic. I'm so glad I put all that time into preparing what that looks like. But this
Thank you for your study
doesn't happen.
and reporting back.
Right. So it's by no accident we call ourselves Lanturn, because all of a sudden these families find themselves in a very dark place and they need a light. You know, and that's what we are.
Nice. And that's so needed.
Yeah, it really is.
So
Really is.
needed. I'm glad you guys are doing what you're doing down that way. And once again, that's available to anybody. Right?
It is.
Anyone.
Did I? Sorry to interrupt.
No, yeah.
Did you say something about Salvation Army partner?
Correct. Yeah. Upcoming, our next big partnership is the Croc Center, Salvation Army's Croc Center in Kent County. It's right on Division. We will be holding public available meetups once a month there. So we do that with Guiding Light, like I mentioned. But a lot of our audience in Guiding Light is families of clients, of patients currently at Guiding Light. This at the Croc Center will be available to all community members in any stage of addiction, substance abuse within the household.
Cool.
So anyone can attend, open to the public.
Open to the public, free of charge, available once a month.
Do you have a firm date for the first one?
June 19. So it is
Juneteenth.
Juneteenth.
Juneteenth at the Croc Center.
That's right. Yeah.
I've worked on that.
I love it.
That was a wonderful movie.
I'm
You
glad
haven't
to trigger
seen it, go
something.
out and see Juneteenth.
Juneteenth.
Yeah, made in Grand Rapids.
There will be more information on that too this coming week on our website. So please visit and you'll be able to learn more about that.
Lanturn with a URN, huh?
URN. URN.
Well, isn't it wonderful that we have these kind of resources available to us nowadays, today? I mean, it's amazing to me, like Mike said, resource rich, that people can go and even if they're a participant in the recovery, such as Guiding Light or any treatment center, right? It doesn't matter.
It doesn't.
Yeah,
We're in it to help people that need helping.
yeah.
Uh,
And that's what's being made available today, which, previously wasn't quite as publicized or well known.
truly
That
wasn't.
there's actually help available, and not just the. Is there any resources that you can make available to a family that's struggling?
Yeah, and
Well,
please
you're-
reach out to us for that, because we're not just an organization that only does these meetups, right? We are a resource for referrals to other organizations that are more highly specified in certain areas of challenge, say trauma or child guidance or actual treatment centers that they need to source on sending their loved one to. We are also a resource for referrals.
That's wonderful because, as we were talking about earlier, the unmanageability of our lives and a spillover effect. A lot of things within the home can get neglected and
Right.
become unmanageable.
And all of these things that we do were not born out of just recognizing the need. It was born out of my own challenge, my own struggle, my own recollection on what I could have used back in the time when I was really in a dark place, and so was my family. What could they have used during that time to help guide them through that period, to help point them in the right direction?
So that's been your driving force. Well, to be of service
100%.
based on your own experience.
I
What was needed and how we can go about facilitating something along those lines.
Helpful hand, right? People that have been there to guide you. It's such a litany of guesswork, when you're faced with this challenge.
Oh yeah, question after question after question.
And you don't know to whether you can trust the answers you find online or not, or
True, that is true.
it's kind of a crapshoot. It's a lot of rolling of the dice. I also worked within treatment centers, and I know how that can be actually unhelpful to families that are seeking help.
Yeah, I know. I've tried to get people admitted, and I know some of the, and they're not my guidelines or their guidelines.
It
What's
is
required to get somebody into a bed in a treatment center can be a task in and of itself.
defeating.
Yeah, so yeah,
It really can be.
yeah.
So
We were, excuse me, folks. You were talking about trauma, family trauma, things like that, and my mind first went to that a person would think, well, it's the physical, emotional damage the alcoholic has caused, or addict. But something that's even maybe more profound is our absence from participation in the family when we're actively using. We're emotionally gone, even if we're physically there. And the role of a parent or whatever our relationship with our family is, we're just not doing that. And if it was our place to help someone deal with some other kind of trauma, we're not there for it.
you hit the nail on the head. That's why so many families struggle when that loved one begins to get help and get healthier. That doesn't always marry nicely to reintegration to the family because they're so far apart, right?
Right.
That person has been absent for so long, and that family has been absent in their lives as well. And so much happens in that middle ground to where now that person's starting to get healthy. Well, that family might still be living in that hard, even though that individual has now seen the light. Maybe the family hasn't. So
Right.
coming back together is such a challenge, and yet so crucial for the success of that person and the family unit.
Yeah, the whole.
The whole.
Yeah.
Right.
The book refers to it as there's a long period of reconstruction that lays ahead.
Yes, sir.
Reconstruction.
Man, is that true?
Reconstruction. I'm familiar with it.
Oh, yeah.
Time takes time.
Time takes time.
Plus willingness, plus action.
Right. That's what we focus on.
Yeah,
Small steps.
yeah, and start small. You can only climb a mountain one step at a time.
Right.
No matter how big it is, you only go.
It's how you eat an elephant one bite at a time.
Yeah.
That's what my grandpa always told me.
Well, he'd probably know more so than me.
Yeah. He may have actually bitten into an elephant at one time.
No, Grant.
Oh, he was one of us. Good for him.
Old salty dogs.
He learned the same way we did. And that's okay. Today.
Yeah, something I was going to say had to do with, well, in recovery, I might get better, and you said about the divergent points where I might be getting better, and I'm trying to get on with living life, but my family's still in those dark ages where I was, you had no idea what I was going to do next.
Right. Yeah, it's resentment, right?
Oh, yeah, that
It's-
one.
It's,
And fear.
Yeah, and
Fear.
fear,
Yeah.
and grief, and fair amount of trauma,
Yeah.
and
I'd
fear
for-
whether we're going to wind up there again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd forced them to navigate life without me. Now I want them to navigate life with me, and they're going, hey, why should I trust you this time?
I've dealt with that same thing within my family. So, some of my family members weren't ready for me to be healthy because they were so familiar with me being unhealthy
And some of them were comfortable with that.
to a degree.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not that they liked it, just comfortable
No,
with it.
familiarity. I mean,
Yeah.
that is they're normal.
We know what we know until we know something different.
That's right.
So, I know this, Dangerous Darren here on the dials, doing his usual stellar job with us here on Sunday morning, is letting me know it's time to take a little break. So come on back and join us after we get done letting Darren do his job here a minute. It's been an interesting conversation here with Will this morning. Come on back.
This is cool, guys. Yeah.
That's what we're doing is There's a lot you're doing I don't know, so I got a lot of questions.
No, I love it.
For your
Please
workday.
continue to
It's some
pose.
good music and the most
I'm sitting here, I could go in so many
When I
different
listen to you
angles,
guys,
but I
just
wanted
turn the
to.
music
Well,
down.
Listen live at
RM1063.com. Shopping with your parents.
Well, and it's helpful to be guided by those who don't know what we do, so that kind of translates better to the listeners. I could
Right.
start talking about this, that, and
Right.
the other. It may not be needing to be aired.
What the hell is he talking about?
Right. I don't want that to happen.
Yeah, this
So-
is like the hope for the future, but you know, what do you see coming down the road? So any one of those you thought about.
Freedom for kids,
I guess this
control for
point,
parents.
did you
That's
miss
family
anything you'd
banking
like
from
to
Chase.
cover? This is a chance to get it out there.
No, I threw in a couple of things that I wanted to make sure was talked about, kind of like where this came from, what it was born from.
My beautiful
was-
chair.
Was my
It's
own
gonna be
struggle.
Now, this segment we'll
Wait,
talk
that
about
can't
what's the
be my
future
What's
looks
chair.
coming? Yep.
Package
Yep.
of
We know about the Croc
small
Center, but reiterate it.
No,
Because
I-
you want to get
Hey, what's in the
100%.
I told
Oh,
people
is
to
that
get
the
their
chair
pens
you spent
and
days
pencils.
online
Hopefully
looking
they-
for?
No, I appreciate
The
that.
one you've been waiting for and talking about for months? Looks kind of small.
Shopping online.
Yeah,
Sometimes
mine
cheaper,
over there, Mike.
sometimes easier.
I hope to get the shed
Sometimes
built this afternoon.
It's just a
I'm not in the
done with
I'm
that.
over
For a
there.
better buying experience,
happened?
shop
I thought
locally
you were
in
done
real
with that.
life.
No,
That's
we got three
IRL
walls
and
up.
kids
Hey,
food.
Mike, I was
At
gonna
Menards
ask you,
Furniture
did
in
you hear an
downtown
explosion
Stanton.
yesterday
Menards
at
has
your
in-house
place?
stylists to help you custom design your next perfect
what were you
piece of
doing?
furniture. The perfect style, material,
Because-
color, pattern, and size.
People in
Piece of
Ensley
perfect
Township
package
heard
coming
it.
to match that
They
shirt.
heard it as far away as County
Too
Line
soon, my
Road
guy,
and
too
120th.
soon. Shop locally
It
and
shook
IRL
our
for a
house.
better buying experience.
Oh, I was
At
gone in
Menards
the
Furniture
afternoon.
Oh,
I
okay.
couldn't build the shed because I had a grandson.
Well, they're reconstituting the meth labs this time of year.
Okay.
That was
They figured somebody was probably shooting a big bunch
bunch
of tannerite.
I've done that.
We used to have fun with that stuff.
Yeah.
Right.
Volatile stuff.
Through collaborative efforts
Oh,
with
well.
a focus
I'm
on
sure
four
people who
populations.
were supposed to know about it knew about
homeless,
it.
I remember them making the
pregnant,
swimming
and
hole
recently
deeper stuff.
All right.
Visit
I got an idea.
vermont.org
All the
for
fish
more
come swimming to the
information.
top on you, done.
One way to fish.
Quickest way known to man.
Yeah, right.
He had his buddy
Carl.
Carl threw the hand grenade overboard.
Really?
Fish came up, yeah.
We cleaned up that day.
Isn't that fun that's always depicted in cartoons, and it actually works? It's real.
The shrapnel ain't quite the same down there.
No, it's
The
probably true.
concussion is
Limit that. But that kaboom
15 seconds.
gets everyone's attention. All the fish come up and take a look.
Crazy,
What's
man.
going on?
It's like
Worked
Looney
again.
Tunes.
It worked again.
5 seconds.
More music you love on WGLM.
We live out there in that kind of part of the world.
Evidently.
We can do that stuff once in a while.
Nobody does nothing.
Hey, welcome back to Continuous Miracle. Right here on WGLM 106.3. We're glad you're here. Having a little fun in between during the break here. We got to cheer down a little bit, fellas.
Okay.
Oh, my goodness. Well, it is about recovery. It's about getting better. It's about
Happy,
living
joyous, and
life
free.
different. Happy, joyous, and free. And enjoying ourselves along the way. So what a miracle. The things we get to do today, huh, sir?
Isn't that the truth?
Yeah,
It's incredible.
it is. It is. We knew it when we know it.
Yeah.
So, and we get to keep doing it a day at a time. Mike was over here carrying on about some of his fishing expeditions.
My misspent youth.
Yeah,
I
that
think
part.
something involving a grenade.
Yeah, it was a good day fishing. We get off track here once in a while.
Snagging was illegal, so.
Well, yeah, I know they did away with that. That was a sad day. But back on the recovery trail here, with Will from Lanturn, Lanturn. A little bit about what Will's doing with this organization, and your wife. His wife couldn't join us today, but I understand she'd like to come be on the show at a later date. So we'll look forward to that. So what's happening today with Lanturn? What's that look like in real time?
Yeah, thanks for asking, Scott. I obviously mentioned the Salvation Army partnership and what we're going to be doing at the Croc Center this month, coming the 19th. Beyond that, we're going to be continuing our relationship with Guiding Light and hosting meetups there, which is great. And then we are leveraging individual family meetups as well, to where we focus on one family at a time in the comfort either of their home, a mutual environment, our office space. Sometimes families appreciate that one-on-one contact as opposed to a group setting. So that is something that we are leveraging as an opportunity for families.
Well, I think that's so true. As we've discovered that one-on-one time with someone is critical for folks to be able to maybe become comfortable enough to talk about some of the things that they had experienced and what they can do differently now that partner is in recovery. How do they make the adjustment to that if they're willing to?
Well, it's similar to our journey of recovery in AA. We have a sponsor, right?
Mm-hmm.
We can still go to meetings.
Sure.
So both are very important to our recovery and our journey and our healing and our joy, and then passing that along to others. So we see that as no different in our organization, being able to offer that individually, still offer group settings for people to come join, and then beyond that, our step is going virtual and kind of doing things that's accessible to folks from their devices, their home, their screens.
Yeah, you utilize the technology that's available today as far as like Zoom meetings or
correct, yeah,
something along those lines.
Yeah, but we're also looking at doing some pre-recorded types of things as well, whether that be a podcast, whether that be tutorials, video-based tutorials that families can utilize from the comfort of their home or wherever they're comfortable, as opposed to coming to us. We can kind of go to them.
Right, furthering their education.
Correct. Yeah,
Okay.
and furthering our reach.
The opportunity for you to reach
Right.
out.
It'll
So
look-
much more available today with technological advances.
Right. We realize that that recovery really does require a personal touch, right? We really hinge on that face to face, that kind of growth. But we also have to meet people where they're at today.
Yeah.
We have to take that into account and embrace it. It doesn't mean we have to separate ourselves entirely from what we know works, boots on the ground, face to face, but adding a supplement.
A bit ago, you said you were some things that you weren't, and one of them was counselor.
Yeah.
But at times, I would almost bet that you are a counselor to these people, along with the guide, the sponsor, the mentor, the friend, coach.
Sure.
Yeah, there's a lot of different names for the helper, the guide.
Sure. I mean, take your best friend, for instance. Does he counsel you on certain things? Your wife counsel you on certain things? Sure. I mean, my wife does, and my friends do me. They're not clinical, but they counsel me, and so sure. Yeah. Do we counsel people? Absolutely. We really want to make sure, though, that we come at it from a non-clinical standpoint, because we are peer-to-peer.
Counsel based on experience.
Correct. Yeah.
And if you don't have experience, you just say, I don't know, right?
And that's where it tips into us being a referral base, because we don't know what we don't know, and we're not going to fake it, because what good is that?
Doesn't help anybody.
No.
So,
right.
We did enough of that.
Yeah. Plenty.
Yeah. But thank goodness you've got the referral sources pretty much at your fingertips. Or you
Very
can
much
direct people this trauma, whatever seems to be the main cause of the concern.
Right. Yeah, because that's often the case where people need, a few different hit points of guidance and help.
Right.
I learned something this past week about trauma pain. We only got one pain circuit in our brain. And in that, we're supposed to process physical pain and emotional pain. So when you're talking about people that have been affected by an alcoholic, the emotional pain is no different to our brain than physical pain. And we've inflicted a lot of that. And there's the trauma associated with dealing with that. That affects a person's reaction, action to life in so many ways.
You're right. And the degree of what families experience in those realms oftentimes is greater, believe it or not, than the addict at hand. Because when we're using, we're numbing that stuff, right?
Right.
We've paused our emotional development at that time. It doesn't mean we don't go through our own version of hurt. I mean, you guys can attest to that.
Sure.
But the families remember it differently. They recall that pain differently.
No numbing effect. So that life keeps
And they
life.
have the right to.
They certainly do. Yeah.
Yeah. Because it's their experience.
It's their experience.
So for them to be a little bit bitter and disillusioned and resentful when I said, "Oh, I'm all better now,"
Right.
it ain't gonna set well.
No, and we meet them there. We don't tell them, no, please don't feel that way. No, that's
how you feel.
Okay. That's great that you're being vocal about that. You're putting that out there. Let's explore it, because that's completely understandable and justifiable.
Well, one other thing, I think you folks are listeners. I just heard you say you're listening.
We have to. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's how I get my dose AA is through the years. So sometimes I need to listen to other people besides, like my family, those I've affected, to let them get better.
Yeah, God gave us 2 ears, 1 mouth, right?
I got to stop talking. Okay, it's usually Scott's line, but thanks, Will.
I think it's just a good old AA line.
Oh, okay, Will.
I think somebody recognized it besides me. I love Mike and his, Mike being Mike.
That's good.
It's beautiful today.
It is.
But let me know when that listening thing kicks in, because I want to bear witness to that.
Oh yeah, about 20 minutes before the show, I was experienced, and I wasn't listening again, folks.
Yeah, that's what it's all about, though. Recognizing that we're still on the journey of progress, right?
Right.
You know?
There's hope then.
There's always hope, man. I know that I'm just a little bit better today than I was yesterday, but I got still a long way to go, and that's cool because it's an exciting journey along the way.
We got something to do today.
That's right. Yeah.
Yesterday was so good being whatever it was. I did build on that a little.
It can be a grand adventure.
It's a grand adventure, man. It's the journey, not the destination.
Yeah.
Because in our world, as far as recovery, there's no finish line.
Nope, it's not out there.
It's not. No.
Keep trudging.
That's right.
It looks like it's on me, folks.
We're both looking your way, man.
Well, we were about to listen. We're waiting for the retort. Here it comes.
It's your chance.
Yeah, there just isn't one today, but this is this opportunity to be able to hear that folks do have hope. There is a chance for recovery, and it looks a lot like this.
Yeah.
And they have help.
That's right.
If they reach out for it.
Yeah, and I really urge people who might be interested, who might feel like this is a space that could pertain to what you're experiencing in your life, come join us. Come join us.
Yeah, that might be a good time for me to mention your phone number again. This is a phone number for Lanturn, and that's LanturnTurn.org. That's the website. And the number is 616-881-3946. Again, 616-881-3946. And you can speak with Will or
My wife, Rachel,
his
my
spouse,
partner.
Rachel, his partner, at Lanturn, and they'll get you to a safe space that you can talk to someone.
And
It's so needed.
That number does receive texts too. I know these days people are more comfortable. That I am. Yeah. I'll admit that. So if that's better, or email too. Yeah, that's either, both.
Remember when you were cool if you had a voicemail?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
I don't know.
I'm old enough to know the phone.
Right.
Yeah.
You know my voicemail.
I'm somebody. I've arrived.
That one day.
Yeah. Kind of miss those days sometimes.
That's okay. They're there for a reason.
Yeah, and so are we.
It's about what we're doing today with those experiences.
That's right.
And we have opportunities for folks to reach out. I think there was an email on here too, if I'm reading it correctly. And yeah, it's will@Lanturn, LANTURN.org. There's an email available as well.
And Scott, we've talked a lot today about our primary operative, which is assisting families. But if families have an individual that may find effectiveness, benefit, semblance with another recovering alcoholic that has been in the shoes of one that's struggling, I am open to that as well, because part of what I do with Lanturn is a recovery coach. I do counsel and guide those that are either pre-recovery, early recovery, in the mess still. I'm here for those people.
So if you're, in that position today, you can reach out to Will at that email, phone number, or at lanturn.org. Right?
That's right.
Yeah. So more resources available.
I left something out. It's probably almost too late to get much involved in this.
Hurry!
Oh, okay. As most any alcoholic or addict are not, I shouldn't say most, many of us are affected by our parents' alcoholism, addiction, or some other family member that would qualify me for getting to Lanturn to have help. Or I should have said Al-Anon for help. I didn't just start out as an alcoholic. I had a lot of help. My father was an alcoholic, and I was affected by that. And I could have, maybe a long time ago, gotten help from Lanturn or Al-Anon.
We hear that a lot. Where was this 20 years ago when I was
Well,
struggling?
it's so true. That's why you hear it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
because it is true,
Yeah.
and it's
today
needed.
it's more. We're not the show too. We're bringing things out in light. We talk about them out loud in real time,
Right.
so people can have access to information to get well.
Yeah,
That's the purpose. Okay.
it is.
And that before was not available.
It wasn't, and I know because my grandfather was in the program. Thankfully, he found sobriety, but he didn't always live there. So I know it's in my family. It's in my wife's. She didn't struggle with it herself, but she certainly lived with it. And this kind of resource just wasn't available. Well, now it is.
Yeah. And too, it was addiction affects, they say, 30 to 35% of the entire human species.
You know how many people in America right now meet this criteria of quote unquote struggling? 25 million people.
Right.
That's a big number.
That's a big number.
And
sir.
think about the families that are attached to that number.
Yeah.
Times it by 2. Times it by 3, 4.
The ripple effect.
It's amazing. It's a huge impact.
Yeah. Well, thank you for what you do.
You're welcome.
And reaching out to those struggling.
Yeah. Well, thanks for having me on today to be able to share a little bit about it.
Yeah, we try and do what we
Let's
can.
do quick math. That's over 100 million people we're talking about affected.
Yeah.
That's a lot
or
of folks.
Rather, let's not think about affected that has an opportunity for hope.
Doing something different.
Right.
Keeping it positive.
Exactly. Looking towards
Right.
the future. What's possible? Yeah.
Because it doesn't have to be like it was
It doesn't.
before. You can get a
doesn't.
do-over.
Right. Let's do it together.
Yeah, come on aboard. That's what we do here at Continuous Miracle. Help make you folks aware of all the help that's available out here and offer some hope. It doesn't have to be the way it's always been. It can be different if we're willing to do something different.
I think we're done. It's time to tell them who we are and what we were. 1063.
Thank you, Mike.
I ain't got enough time to get it all in.
Thanks, Mike.
Thanks for listening.
I would.
Now, I want to give out our website once again, continuousmiracle.net. All the previously recorded shows are up there. And again, Lanturn's contact information, 616-881-3946, www.lanturn.org, and Will at lanturn.org if you'd like to personally speak with Will, or email him. And you respond to all your emails, I'm sure.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Sometimes life depends on it.
Life and death disease. You got it.
That's right.
That's why we respond today.
Yeah.
Because we can.
Because we can. We're called upon to do it.
Yeah. Yeah. It's an opportunity to be of service. So
Yeah.
Thank you for that.
You're welcome.
Did somebody answer that number 24/7 that you had?
24/7, no, but please leave a message or text it. Text is great because when we are back early in the morning or late at night, we'll get back.
Yeah,
We
he's a hard guy to get hold of.
We do sleep.
Oh, you found
we do
that out.
sleep
Did.
sometimes.
Yeah.
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 Mhm.
I like it that you can sleep in today once in a while.
Yeah, every now and then, man.
So come on back and join us here next week again on Continuous Miracle. We're going to have another guest in and hopefully have some more reasonably decent information to share with you. We're glad you're here. Keep coming back. That's what they told us. That's what we ask of you.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks for being here.
Hell
Will.
yeah.
Great job.
This is great. This is fun. Really.
Didn't hurt, right?
Not a bit. It helped. It's wonderful. And I can share this probably on our Facebook, I would
Put
imagine.
it up there.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Good.
I'm going to call. You do whatever you want. I'm taking the chair back.
Oh, here, I'll help with this one.
That one go right in the
And
corner.
then
This one stays? Okay.
we'll try and get a day moving forward